There are moments in royal history when everything changes in a single breath. When a crown, a title, or a name isn't just a symbol, it becomes the thin line between power and disappearance. And now, that line has finally snapped for Meghan Markle. Word rippling through palace corridors says the unimaginable has happened. The message was quiet, but the meaning was brutal. Meghan's title as Duchess is gone, for good, and this time there's no coming back. Those close to her whisper that Meghan is absolutely shattered. She never thought this day would arrive, the day she'd be stripped of the one thing that opened every door for her. The title that sold magazines, booked interviews, and kept every camera flashing in her direction. That word Duchess was her brand, her armor, her golden ticket to the life she wanted. And now, it's slipping through her fingers like sand. The palace, under a new and firm hand, isn't playing anymore. The era of borrowed royalty, of cashing in on crowns and connections, is ending. Meghan's devastation isn't just emotional, it's existential. Without that title, who is she? Just another former actress married to a man who used to be a prince. And that truth, as cruel as it sounds, has torn her to pieces. Because this decision, insiders say, isn't about revenge, it's about restoration. The royal family's new chapter is being written not by King Charles, but by one man Meghan cannot charm, cannot sway, cannot manipulate: Prince William. Yes, William has quietly stepped into a power no heir has dared to take in decades, and he's wielding it like a sword. Insiders claim William has begun a sweeping cleanup, an effort to strip away royal titles from those who've tarnished the crown's name. And who's at the top of that list? Harry and Meghan. But here's the twist. William doesn't see it as punishment. He sees it as protection. The monarchy, battered and bruised from scandals and betrayals, can no longer allow its symbols to be used as personal brands or PR tools. Those days are gone. This isn't symbolic, it's real paperwork. Real signatures, real consequences. Once the ink dries, Harry will no longer be a prince. No duke, no earl, just Henry Charles Albert David Mountbatten Windsor. And Meghan, no longer Duchess of Sussex, will be Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor. That name alone, plain and stripped of sparkle, feels like the ultimate punishment. It wipes away everything she's built, everything she believed made her special. For Meghan, this is worse than bad press, worse than failed projects, worse than fading relevance. Because without that royal label, she's just ordinary, and that's her greatest fear. But for William, that's the point. According to palace insiders, he's determined to cleanse the monarchy, to rebuild it brick by brick, without scandal or exploitation. And if that means cutting off his own brother and sister-in-law, so be it. Sources close to the future king say he's even willing to extend the rule to his own family, yes, even his children. He's reportedly accepted that Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis might one day live without titles unless they commit to royal service. That's how serious this new order is. William believes a title should be earned, not used. Protected, not traded. Honored, not sold to Netflix or Spotify. The difference between the brothers has never been clearer. Harry clings to the perks of royalty while rejecting its responsibility. William embraces the duty, even if it costs him everything. And that contrast, palace insiders whisper, has broken their bond for good. William has had enough. Enough of scandals. Enough of excuses. Enough of seeing the institution his late mother carried with dignity dragged into chaos. His message is simple. The monarchy will not bend for Harry and Meghan. It will not soften. It will not wait. William is now leading the charge, and he won't look back. But what made him act now? That's where the story takes a darker turn. The spark that lit this fire wasn't Meghan. It was the Yorks, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson. Shocking new revelations about Andrew have resurfaced. Alleged lies about his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein, hidden financial ties, and whispers of police misuse to silence accusers. Then there's Fergie, whose spending and shady financial dealings have left even the palace alarmed. Insiders believe the real sums involved are far larger than anyone knows. The monarchy was on the verge of collapse under the weight of these scandals, and William realized something had to give. If the institution kept protecting those who abused their status, the public's trust would never recover. So, the cleanup began. And once the Yorks were exposed, the Sussexes, already seen as disloyal and self-serving, were next. To understand Meghan's panic, you need to understand her dependence. She was an active royal for less than 2 years, yet she built her entire identity around that brief window. Every speech, every interview, every brand deal, it all circled back to the Duchess. That title was her storyline, her hook, her proof that she was different from everyone else. Take that away, and what's left? Insiders recall how she broke tradition even during her pregnancy, rejecting royal doctors, refusing standard protocols, stirring doubts that still whisper in the halls today. Rumors about secrecy, scans, and things that didn't add up. Whether true or exaggerated, they planted unease. Control was slipping, narratives were being twisted. And the crown was becoming just another prop in Meghan's personal show. But the breaking point? That came when Meghan tried to trademark Duchess of Sussex. Yes, trademark it as if a royal title could be turned into a personal brand. And to make matters worse, sources say she even changed her legal last name to Duchess of Sussex, not as a title, but as a surname. To the palace, that was it, the final insult. Royalty turned into marketing. That's when William intervened personally. According to insiders, he told Harry that nothing, absolutely nothing belonging to their mother, Princess Diana, should ever be associated with Meghan again. not jewelry, not symbols, not memories. That's why Meghan reportedly stopped wearing Diana's watch soon after. It wasn't just a request, it was a warning, a brutal reminder that she could never be Diana, never truly royal, and that her borrowed shine could vanish with a single stroke of a pen. While Meghan was spiraling, Harry was drowning in his own nightmare, the fear of becoming irrelevant. Once those titles disappear, he's no longer Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, or Earl of Dumbarton. He's just Henry Mountbatten Windsor. To most, it's a name. But to him, it's the loss of an entire identity. He was born a prince, raised as one, and even when he rebelled, that title shielded him. Without it, he's just a man with no army, no royal duties, no clear purpose, and nowhere to belong. Sources say Harry senses what's coming. That's why he's been clinging to his father lately, hoping King Charles might soften the blow or delay the process. But William is not Charles. The new heir isn't waiting for anyone's approval. The door has closed, and this time, it's locked from the inside. It's tragic, really. The two brothers who once walked behind their mother's coffin are now on opposite sides of a crumbling bridge. And for the first time, Harry has no path back. But Meghan's breaking point came when she realized it wasn't just her title at stake, it was her children's. Insiders say she had built her entire future on the belief that Archie and Lilibet would grow up as a prince and princess, that those titles would open doors, cement her legacy, and keep her tethered to royalty forever. But under William's reforms, that dream is over. Archie will not be a prince. Lilibet will not be a princess. Their names will be rewritten, their royal privileges gone. To Meghan, it felt like being erased. Without royal children, she's not a royal mother. Without that connection, she's just another celebrity mom married to a man once famous for being royal. It's not just humiliation, it's an identity crisis, and the palace knows this cuts her deeper than anything else. Meanwhile, look at the contrast. William's children will thrive with or without titles, because their father is raising them with purpose, not privilege. Charlotte and Louis, insiders say, are growing up grounded, confident, and proud of their family's duty. William believes character defines royalty, not status. Meghan, on the other hand, has built her entire world around status. Without it, she's left with nothing solid to stand on. There are moments in history that don't come with trumpets or headlines, but with a quiet door closing. And that door has now closed on Meghan Markle. Prince William, calm and unwavering, stands as the architect of the monarchy's next era. He's cutting away the branches that rotted from scandal so the crown can survive. The York's disgrace exposed the cracks. Parliament's pressure added fuel. Meghan's obsession with titles lit the fuse, and Harry's betrayal fanned the flames. Now, the titles that once defined them are fading like smoke from a dying candle. Insiders describe Meghan pacing, making calls, pleading, trying to find a way to stop it. But there's nothing left to save. The titles are slipping away, and so is the illusion. Harry remains silent, knowing nothing he says can undo what's already decided. William, steady as stone, keeps moving forward. The announcement could come quietly, or it could drop like a thunderclap. But one thing is certain, once those titles fall, the fantasy falls with them. The world will finally see the truth, who stood for the crown, and who only stood in its shadow. And as the storm gathers over Buckingham Palace, whispers grow louder among those who know the system best. This isn't the end, it's only the beginning.